GarageBand Weekly here on Studio Live today, except my stream doesn't seem to have started yet, so that's always a shame. It's not coming up. The StreamYards are not doing their thing. It's still sitting there and spinning. So if we are live, that's a good thing. And if we're not, I don't know what to tell me because it's saying you're not live. It's just sitting there spinning. And I don't really understand why. So we'll get into the show in just a moment, but I do need to make sure that everything's actually happening first. We may need to refresh the page and come back in and try that one more time with feeling. Just give me 1 second. Having trouble connecting. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Just one moment. I am live. Okay, that's so weird because it is saying I'm not live here in StreamYard. Good thing I didn't start swearing and ranting and doing anything, but there you go. It says I'm having trouble connecting, and I'm not live, but apparently I am. But I will just need to jump out and jump back in again because with StreamYard not knowing it's live, it's kind of not going to work so well for the rest of the things that I do. So I'm just going to jump out and jump back in again. So just give me about 10 seconds, and we'll be back in a jiffy. And we will see if this is going to actually do something. See, it's saying scheduled still, and it's not actually going live. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of a strange one. If you could let me know. So I'm back. It's up there. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. If you've ever used Restream or StreamYard, you'll know you hit the go live button. It says scheduled, and then it says now you're live. And it's still giving me the go live button. It says that I'm not actually live. It's not got the countdown time or anything. However, I can see people and I can say hello and we can do things in here. I know I need a flux capacitor to do the time travel and everything. So if I could please just get some thumbs up. If you can see me here on YouTube, we're just going to roll with it. Just throw me some thumbs up in the chat. And if I get enough thumbs up, I'll know that we are back and we're okay and we'll continue on. Yeah, I've never seen it before either. Yes, I'm back. I'm live. We're all good. Yeah, everything's good. Super weird. I'll show you what I mean. If I bring up my screen here, this is going to go all Inception-y. Not that one, but this one. I'll bring this over here. Whoa! So there you all are. But can you see how in the top right corner that go live button is there, and it says scheduled. It's showtime, and it's time to go. So that's the one that normally I hit and then it says you're live and the red light comes on and everything's good. So I think StreamYard they just added a new little feature for like video editing trimming and like a lot of things. This is why I say to you folks, don't update your stuff when you're about to do something important. And I can't really tell StreamYard not to update their stuff, but clearly they got some sort of communication connection issues. But yeah, didn't show you as live when I checked, but as scheduled. Yeah. So I've got no idea. I can see your chats here. I've got no idea if we're streaming to all the platforms, and I got no idea how many people are here. But hey, that's fine because you're here, and it's time for GarageBand Weekly here on Studio Live today. After a few little hurdles, we are up and away on this week's show. We're answering your questions, assuming that everything stays up. We're going to answer some questions. I've got some questions that came in through the week. We're going to talk about organization of your files. Yeah, file management. How much fun is that going to be? No, it's important. It's important stuff. And if you're anything like me after Songtember, you got files out the wazoo. So we're gonna archive some of those. We're gonna zip them up, and I'm gonna show you some tips and tricks for backing up and sharing some of your files. And I also wanted to jump into some news and notes because guess what? We have just finished Songtember. Yay! Can we get a sigh of relief, a round of applause, or something for Songtember? For those that don't know what Songtember is all about, it's our Song in a Month challenge. We've been doing it every year for the past 4 years. You can go to studiolivetoday.com/Songtember, where in fact I need to add in the link to the final show. That's down in the description. So if you jump to the description of this particular video, you'll be able to see it there. For some reason, this is everything's going so strange today. This could be just a very different kind of show. There you go. Is Mercury in retrograde? Jade, are there any solar flares or whatever those things are that make things go weird? Because everything's a bit weird today, just quietly. But here's the Songtember 2022. So you can go to the Songtember video playlist. You can't submit your Songtember song. Don't submit it there anymore. Just submit it to the regular Your Music Live page if you've got a Songtember song that you've now finished, and then you can join all the different groups. I've also got our Friends of Songtember down here, and I did want to give a shout out to a few cool folks who completed Songtember and did some really cool things. Some of them in GarageBand, some in other platforms, but all did a really cool job. First of all, Tommy Jack. I just came from Tommy Jack's premiere, and I've linked his channel down in the description. He's made an epic track. It's an amazing rock track with some great guitars and vocals and really cool drums. And he documented his process, as you can see, and he was using GarageBand on the Mac. So if you're a Mac user, I know when you watch this show, it's a lot of GarageBand iOS stuff, but if you're a Mac user, you can jump over and check out Tommy Jack because he went through all of his Songtember process with some very cool videos there. So go check out Tommy. Dude, Jamie Mallander's also completed Songtember and made a beautiful song for his daughter. Now, Jamie uses primarily Cubasis, which I know is not GarageBand, but we support all sorts here, so go and check out Jamie Mallander as well. The one and only Thomas Christ just released his amazing Folk U EP, which I've grabbed a copy of, and you can check out the Holy Moly, which is a very cool song and video. I was playing that to my wife last night. We're hanging out and having a drink and listening to some Folk U, which was pretty cool. Jade Starr, who's just kicked off Rocktober, where she's challenging you all to to create a video in the month of October, which should be a heck of a lot of fun to see how folks go about making their videos. I'm going to try one. Am I going to go to the level of effort that Jade is? No. So if you want to learn about all of the tricks of the trade, go and check out Jade. That rhymes, and you know that rhymes. Kiana has done an amazing job. She's done 30. She's definitely the queen of Songtember because she's done 30. She did a video every single freaking day in September, and a lot of her behind-the-scenes process. She's quite new to recording, but it's actually really cool to see someone doing it for their first time to see their process and see how they went about the process. And she uses Cakewalk. So there you go. There's another type of creator. That's me. Why have I got that open? Oh, yes, because I wanted to tell you that was the live show. So yesterday, we had a heap of folks on the live stream. Check out this playlist. Indigo Sunsets, Frigsy, Alex Backers, JDL, Holy Ghost, John Liner, Tommy Jack, Steve Coxon, The Infamous Empanadas, our mate SM Borthwick, Park UK. Like, it just went on and on and on. Like, some amazing artists. And we had a total of, I think, 62 tracks in the end in the live stream. So if you missed it, 3.5 hours. The reason I'm a bit frazzled here today is that I used to know 3.5 hours of live streaming. That was kind of cray-cray. Just quietly. There you go. There's all the links that you need there. We are going to answer some questions. So if you've got a question, just throw the word question or a big Q in front of your question, just like this. Just a big fatty old Q, or just put the word question in front, and it will make sure that I can see the question. There's Jade Starr. All the Rocktober stuff that you could possibly desire is there. Yeah, it was cool. Listening to some Folk U, very nice stuff. Mercury's in retrograde. Society, see, that's the problem. Society's in retrograde. Exactly. Actually, this is cool. I'll have to no flares today. All right, just here. There is some pretty bad weather around. Like for the last 2 days, we've had sunny weather here in Adelaide, but it's been pretty shoddy so far today. It's been very raining. Yeah, I know. Awesome tracks. Wasn't it amazing the amount we had? Hello, Stu Cash, by the way. Hello to Tremor Bear, who shared a song and played on another song, which is very, very cool. Yeah, need to start saving space. Yeah, there's ways to do it. If you have a question, go ahead and put the word question in front. Do exactly like Princess LDG has done here, and we'll answer any of those questions as we go through the show. I know that this is what I don't know, Tom. I don't know how we're going to end the stream if it's not telling me it started yet. So once we go out of it, does it just sit there forever? Can I ever not be streaming? I don't know. This could be the longest stream ever. I may just have to stay here till the end of time. I don't know how. I don't know how it's going to work, but we'll see. We'll see how we go. I'm just tagging any of the questions that we've had in here so far. So continue asking your questions. I will get to them. I see dead people plus Pete. Yeah, no, it was a bit of a weird false start to the show that we had here. And yeah, no idea how we're going to end it. Does anything ever really end? Yeah. Maybe not. Cool. I think I've tagged all the comments that we had there. Let me just check and see if my notes here, if we've got anything else I wanted to talk about. So I did want to give you an update on my AirPods Pro, because I didn't buy the new iPhone. I did, however, of the new ones, new things that came out. I did buy the AirPods Pro, AirPods Pro 2. So. Are they an upgrade on the AirPods Pro 1? Yes. Would I rush out and buy them unless you're a very particular sort of person? No. So I like these because they have their own charger, they have all-day battery life, and I basically have one of these in my ears at any given time. Hopefully this won't mess up my audio, because my Mac just said, hey, I just saw some AirPods. So they're really comfortable. They've got the silicone tips there. I'm actually a large silicone tip. There's a cool thing you can do. It actually, because there's microphones and speakers built into these things, when you stick them in, you do this test and it plays music, and then it says, nah, there's too much sound leakage. And I've always used the medium tips, but it said, no, there's too much sound leakage. Try the large tips. And I did. And guess what? A lot better. They don't fall out as much, and it sounds better, and I get better separation. So for anyone that ever heard me talking on my older ones, part of the problem there was that a lot of the audio was leaking out into the microphone, and that was causing interference. The transparency mode on these is amazing. So because I walk around the place a lot, in order to not get hit by cars, it's great to have these, because you can have transparency mode, which basically samples the sound and continues to push that in as well. So basically it's like mixing and blending the music and the audio you're hearing, as well as the outdoor audio. And that means that I can be safe. You can then turn on the noise reduction mode, noise cancellation, and that works amazingly well, like too well. I can't have that on when I'm out and about. The other cool thing these have is the volume control, and they have a U1 chip in the bass. So they have the Find My on both the buds and the bass. And if you're like me and you lose things easily, they're good deals. So again, I think I mentioned it to you last week. Are they for everyone? No, but if you're a heavy user of Apple products and iPhones, and you do a lot of traveling and walking around or biking or busing or whatever, they're kind of a godsend, because you can put yourself into your own little world, or you can have them in your ears and be functional and actually be able to hear that semi-trailer about to run you down before it actually hits you, which is a plus. Righty. We'll continue on here. How about if you're just heavy? Well, I'm that too, Bear. I'm heavy, but I'm also that. I can't give up wired buds because I lose buds immediately. Yeah, and look, I always carry a pair of Apple Dirty Buds, or I've got in my bag for my travel, I've got a pair of JBL Endurance Run headphones, which are the other sort that I use and recommend on a regular basis. I do prefer wired, and that's the other thing. I think I mentioned it last week. Do not use your wireless buds for for music production, please. I know people are like, "Oh man, I use my Beats, I use my AirPods, and I make fly beats and fire beats." And my answer to that is, yeah, but you're probably not on the beat, because the latency, the lag, the delay that you get between the two, it doesn't work so well. So basically, you're hearing the music and you're singing along, and then it's got that little bit of delay. So it's not ever going to record. You're going to be constantly moving things from side to side. Yeah. I'll just say products from Anchor are a good deal. They are. Yeah, Anchor is very cool. Anchor, Atola, they're kind of the two brands I use if I'm using cables or if I'm using powered USB hubs or adapters. Atolla, Atolla, and Anchor, Anker, both make good stuff. All right, let's dive into some of these questions, shall we? Because we are here for a Q&A show after all. Got a bit of a rant, but we'll save that for later. I'll just keep ranting at the end of the show, because apparently it's not. It's super weird looking at this and it's saying you're not live, but I am. Still don't know how we're going to finish the show. How do I make synthwave? The music type synthwave? Get some synthwave type sounds and put them together. I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to Google it for you. Assuming you mean in GarageBand. Like, I want to see this because I've never actually searched for synthwave in GarageBand. So let's Google together, shall we? I'll go to the YouTubes because synthwave GarageBand. Oh look, you got synthwave GarageBand Mac, synthwave GarageBand iOS. Making a dreamy synthwave beat in GarageBand iOS. We've got how to make synthwave in GarageBand. There you go. 47,000 views from 2 years ago. Hi, first video on this channel. Thought I'd make a synthwave tutorial. Let's have a quick squiz at it, shall we? Let's see what's going on. Okay, so it's it's one of these. Okay. All right, so I guess it'll at least show it, but I'm not a huge fan of non-talking videos. Like, I know that maybe I'm prejudiced because maybe some people totally fine, but yeah, I like I'm a talker. I like to listen to some commentary when I'm being taught how to do something. But looks like that's a good video, and like they show some of the thing how to make 80s synthwave on GarageBand. We've got another one there from Garage Beats. So yeah, I think other people have already done it. For whatever reason, no one seems to talk while they do it. Maybe it's the genre. Maybe the particular genre of synthwave doesn't require any talking. Or maybe I'm just a big loudmouth and I talk too much. So yeah, I would go and check out some of those tutorials because, yeah, I know my limitations and I've never made a synthwave track. I mean, I made a semi-synthwavy track in Cubasis, my song Time It Flies 1.21 that I made about a year and a half ago. But I've never really experimented a lot in synthwave type of music in GarageBand. Hello, by the way, to Mr. Gary Hubs. Very cool recent song. Did I just get paged? Possibly. Who knows? We don't even know. We're having problems here, Gary. It doesn't even tell me that I'm live, but apparently I am. No problems. Yeah, go explore. Like, go try some other channels. There's plenty of other places where you can find good information. How do you ever make your drums in mono in GarageBand? Do I really? No, not so much. So I saw this question from Princess LDG, and I've had this question before because here's the thing about GarageBand, right? Whoops, that's the wrong screen. Let's come back to my GarageBand. Here's the thing about GarageBand. So let's go somewhere. Let's just create a song. So let's say we're creating a drum. We're creating a track in GarageBand. We're going to throw drummer. We've got the wrong thing. There we go. We're in completely the wrong spot there. we've got our drummer. We won't go Anders because Anders is a bit played out. We'll go someone that we don't use very often just for fun. What about Rose? Modern R&B. So let's turn her up. We'll make it a bit more complex. And we'll put our tempo up a little bit. And we'll bring her up on the cymbals here, because this will give us a real sort of stereo feel. So we've just got an 8-bar track here of drums, of Rose doing her thing. Now, what you can hear is that GarageBand works a bit differently from other DAWs in that every single track is stereo by default and cannot be changed. So that means that this is where people get kind of trapped in this, is that even if you pan this completely left, it's not just going to be on the left. Let me show you. Okay, it's not too bad with this one because it doesn't seem to have any reverb or anything built in. But if we go to the right, okay, yeah, so this was a bad example. I'm the king of bad examples. But as soon as we add any reverb or delay on this beat, now look what happens even though it's panned. Can you hear that it's reverberating back into the left? And even when you have it on the left, it's reverberating back into the right. So it's never 100% mono, and you can't even 100% pan it left or right because it's always it just doesn't work that way. There's a couple of ways to make a mono track. The easiest way is actually to export it as a WAV file and then convert it into mono. So let's find something that's going to be a little more stereo, shall we? So we'll leave that beat there, but let's just say we made a beat where what's something that's going to have a real stereo field that we can create here? A real stereo kind of instrument. So we'll come in here and find some keys. The classical grand has quite stereo because it moves between the two things. So let's just see if we can put some autoplay on here, and we'll play some autoplay classical grand along with this beat. So we'll record that in and we'll just stretch it out here. So say we had this piano sound and this drum sound. We'll just loop that. And you can see there with the piano sound that it's definitely going. We'll take all that reverb off because it sounds pretty shoddy, doesn't it? You can see here that, see how it's got when it's hitting the low notes, you can see the little left indicator come up. So the two little lines you're seeing there, we'll just make this just the piano. The two little lines you're seeing there, the top one is the left and the bottom one is the right. So you're getting a real stereo sound in this one. As soon as we turn the reverb off, we'll get a little bit less. But you can still see that when it hits those lower notes, that top one is the one that's there. Now, if we wanted to make this into a mono file, what I use is an app called Voice Recorder 7. So if you've got any tracks in here, we'll use this piano just because it's easier to see the stereo versus the mono. So you can see there that that's the stereo file. What we need to do is actually come out of here. It's not the simplest thing in the world to do. Come out of this one and we will export this track. So we'll share it. We'll share the song and we'll share it as an uncompressed wave. Because what you basically need to do, we'll just hit the open in button, we basically need to do is export it and then convert it outside of GarageBand. GarageBand has no way to make things mono. Now, you generally don't even really need to make things mono, but if you really wanted to, we'll just throw it in our downloads folder. If you really wanted to, this is the way you can do it. So let's come over here to, and by the way, Voice Record Pro 7 is the best audio converter. And it's weird because there's other audio converter, we'll just say okay to that one. There's other audio converter apps that are specific audio converters. This one's a voice recorder and it also has cool audio conversion features as well. So if I can remember how to use it, that'd be great. I'll get rid of the ad. I've got to remember how to bring in a file here. We have to send the file, I think, to it. I think this is the trick. So what we'll do is we'll go out to our files app here. We will go to the downloads that we were just in before, and this one here, this My Song 3 is the one that we downloaded just now. We'll tap and hold on that one and we will share it, and we'll share it to Voice Record 7. Import, there you go, it has been brought in, and it is this one here on the 4th of October. So the 4th of October already, jeebus, let's play it. So there you can see that the two VU meters, one for the left and one for the right. Now, if we want to convert this to mono, we can do that. We need to get out of this one. So I haven't used this in the longest time, and now I can't remember. Do we tap? How do we get out of it? This is a great demo, isn't it? When John doesn't know. Stop. There you go. Hit the stop button. So what we can do now is actually convert it. So down here, there's an advanced converter. This one here. Advanced converter, and we can convert it to any other sort of file. So we can convert it to MP3. So that's why I said before this is a great converter, because you can go to MP3, you can go to a WAV file, so however you'd like to convert it. So we want this, and this one here, this stereo to mono. This is one that I'd set up from before that I've used for doing exactly this in the past. But we'll set it up here again. We'll go convert to wave. You can match the source here. So you can leave it as match source, or you can go manual. We'll go to manual, and we'll make it 44.1, and we won't want 8-bit depth. We still want to keep it at 24-bit, and we want to make it channels, stereo, we want to make it mono. So we're going to go to that, we're going to hit the convert button, and there you go, it has been successfully converted, and we're good to go. I'm just going to take my headphones off for a sec, because that's, yeah, that wasn't working so well. We're going to go to Activities and AirDrop, and go Audio, and then we're going to send this back, send it to Files, save to Files, back to our Downloads folder. And there you go. That bit is done. Alrighty, cool. Yeah, Voice Record 7 works for a lot of stuff. Okay. I'm going to have to take a quick break for a moment. I just need to grab some water. So I'm just going to jump out of the stream, try and fix a few things up here, and then hopefully we'll be back in just Right, let's see. Are we back in here? we've had a few we've had a few technical issues. We've had a few challenges here with stuff this morning. Nothing's quite working as it should be. So I've got my water now though, so that's all good. You know when sometimes things are just not quite going the way that you'd like them to? Yeah, that's been the show so far. We're all good. So let's jump back over and see if this is going to work. Can I get some more thumbs up, please, in the chat, just to let me know? Yeah, I don't look dry anymore. Yes, I do. I have my water and I'm back, so we're good to go. Yeah, so we are back. We're back. Okay. So where were we up to? We'd converted it from stereo to mono. Now we can actually import it back in. So we're going to tap on this one in the top right corner. We're going to browse from the Files app. We've got our recent ones here. So we'll grab this one, which is this 001, which is that one. And we will bring it back in here. I shouldn't call things my song because that's never works well, does it? My song, where were we? 003. So we'll drag this one in and take a look at this. It'll line up perfectly on that original Grand, but here's the difference. Instead of it being stereo, it's going to be in mono. So let's play the stereo version. I'll just turn my speakers up here. So you can see the stereo on the two sides there. And now let's do this with our mono version. So what you should be hearing is that it's sitting all the way down the middle. So it's not going to either side. So if you use that same thing with your drums, so the original question, we go right back to the start. The original question from Princess LDG was, how do I take my drums and make a mono? That's how you do it. Do I ever do it? Never say never. I don't never do it, but it's rare. Usually I'll keep everything in stereo, but there are some times when something like a bass guitar or a drum, like a kick drum, you might want it to be right down the center and make sure it doesn't go left or right. So using Voice Recorder 7 is the way to go. And even though I kind of made it look more difficult than it was because I forgot how to use it, it is actually super simple to use. I'll do a quick re-show of it just so that it all makes sense here. So what we did is we exported it from GarageBand, which I'm sure you're familiar with. We then grabbed it here and we used the share feature to share it over. We did the sharing it straight to Voice Record 7. Once it's open here in Voice Record 7, we use the advanced converter to convert it to mono. We then bring it straight back in. So I know I made it look a bit harder because I hadn't used this in a long time because, again, I just don't use it that much. So yeah, it was all good. All right, welcome aboard. Everyone starts at zero. We've all been newbies at one stage or another, so welcome aboard, Iranti. I hope you get some value out of the videos around here on the channel. Let's move on to our next questions. Brian J says, I'm sure no one will remember, but a few weeks ago I asked a question about low volume when recording guitar direct with my PreSonus interface. Today I raised my pickup and ta-da, fixed. So you raised your, as in you just turned the volume up on your guitar, like raise the pickup volume on the guitar? That's a good one to put into the kit box because I never really think about that. But you're right. When you're using a bass guitar or an electric guitar, it's not just it's not just about the volume that's going into your DAW or the volume on your audio interface. You've got another stage of gain there, which is your actual guitar. So, I do remember that one, and I'm glad you got it sorted because, there's nothing worse than when you're trying to record and you're getting those little tiny small waveforms. It's not cool. Hello to Zach Thong, by the way. Thanks for dropping on by. G'day, Michael Thompson. Hope you are doing well. Let's continue on. I think I'm still just worried that I don't know how we're going to actually end this stream because it still says I'm not in the stream. What interface do you use? So I use a few different audio interfaces. The main one I use is the Steinberg UR22C. And I know that the usual suspects are going to be a little bit sick of hearing about this all the time, but I have a gear guide. StudioLiveToday.com/gear is this one here. And you can come down here and see my mobile setup. So this is what I use for my iPad. This is what is plugged in. And when I was playing my iPad before, this is what you were hearing on there. It's the Steinberg UR22C. Now, it's nearly a $200 interface. Why I like it? is that you've got your two inputs there. You've got a mono button, so you can actually hear back in mono, which is super handy. You've got your headphone jack there, but around the back is where it shines because you can power this sucker via 5-volt DC or via USB 3.0. So that means if you need to power it separately, if you're using it with an iPhone or an iPad, you totally can do that. And you've got nice balanced outputs on there as well, and your 48 volts phantom power. So it doesn't do everything in the world, but what it does do, it does really well. And if you just want a high quality stereo or two microphone or two quarter-inch input interface, then it's pretty good to go. You can also go the Focusrite. So very popular is the Focusrite Scarlett, and I know a lot of folks here in the chat will probably give you their views as well. A lot of people use this one, $180, and if you're looking for budget, I am hearing really good things about the Presonus. Now, what is it called? It's the Audio 96, Audio Box 96. So this one here for just $99.99. This is what a lot of folks are using if you want to get in with a decent quality audio interface, but you don't have $200 to spend. Go with something like this. What should you not get? Yeah, not Behringer. Behringer, they're like the knockoff Behringer. The Behringer UM2. Don't buy this, please. Look, it's super cheap. It's $40. But in my humble experience, in my humble opinion and in my experience, you don't get much better quality sound than you get from just using your line in on your iPad or your iPhone, like just plugging in or just using the built-in microphone, because the converters, the quality of the converter in this is not great. It's only 16-bit audio and it's not built very well. It's made of plastic and you can really tell. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. But yeah, the gear guide, studiolive.com/gear is where I recommend you go. Use the SSL2 Plus. Yeah, that's also good. Audient make good interfaces. Basically, basically, yeah, anything that's good. The M Audio Duo, yeah, or M Audio. If it's brand name, you're okay. That's what I say with all this sort of stuff. Brand name around the $100 mark, and you're fine. Or by the looks of it, the M Audio. I use M Audio keyboards. They work really, really well. So yeah, I don't think you'll have any problems with those. Physically, right? Did I miss the point of not just turning it up, not the volume, but literally? The height of the okay. Which is basically a similar thing. So raising the height of the pickup. So if you're not familiar with what a pickup is in a guitar, do I have a guitar handy? Hold that thought. I'll explain this by actually holding up guitar. So a guitar pickup is these things here. So the bits that sit underneath the strings. Now these are essentially microphones. So the distance between the pickup and the string, if that's too far, the microphone's not picking up enough of the string sound when you actually play it. So what Brian is saying, I misinterpreted, he's actually raised. So you can see there's like screws down there next to the pickup. You can actually raise and lower those pickups to make them closer to or further away. So if they're too close, you get too much volume and you get, crunchy, distorted tone. If they're too far away, which is the problem Brian was having, you're not getting enough gain through from your guitar. So we'll pop that to the side. Thank you for clarifying. So there you go. There's another one for the... It wasn't just the... Sorry, that probably sounded insulting where I was like, oh yeah, just turn the volume up. And you're like, no, John, it wasn't the volume. It was the actual pickup. Makes sense. Good stuff. Yeah, Steinberg are definitely built like tanks. Super heavy and work really well. All right, let's continue on with the other questions. Princess has another question. Did you ever split your piano tracks into two mono tracks and pan them in different parts of your mix? Yes, sort of. Yeah. Never into two mono tracks, but what I have done in the past. So what I do as a bit of something fun. So if we just come in here, I'll usually do it with something like maybe an organ or electric piano or something like that. Let's just grab the organ because I always love an organ. Nice organ, brah. Let's just go upper octave. So let's just say that we were recording in an organ part to go along with this. A little bit slow, isn't it? Let's up that tempo a wee bit, shall we? All right. So yeah, if we've got our organ part in there, what we can then do, and what I'd sometimes then do, is use a second track. So yeah, I will do something similar to this. I'll duplicate that out. I'll grab this, we'll say copy it, and then paste it in here. And I'll make the first one maybe be panned over here to the left. So I'll maybe go like half pan left on that one, and maybe like a half pan right on that one, and then get something like this, where it sits on the left for the first bit, and then go over to the other side. So because in GarageBand you don't have any panning automation, if you want to sort of move your stuff around, that's kind of a good way to do it. And I've showed this before, but if you've never used panning automation, the way to do it here in GarageBand is to do this, to pan one of your tracks left, to pan the other of your track right, and then automate them both. So if we grab this one and we automate, what we can do is turn this one on, create an automation point there, and bring it down, and create an automation point there, and bring it down, and then there, and bring it up. Whoop. And what this does is it turns the volume, it starts with the volume full on the left, and then goes to nothing, and starts with it at nothing on the right, and goes to full. So take a look and listen to this. We're over on the left, we're shifting through the middle, we're going over to the right. Pretty cool, yeah? So even though GarageBand doesn't allow you to do things like panning automation, there's more than one ways to skin up a cat, and there's more than one way to pan and use automation in GarageBand. Yeah, like my original guitar, I love this thing. Back in the day when I wasn't playing a lot of guitar and I wasn't doing music, this sat in the cupboard for literally 10 years, not even exaggerating. Didn't play it for 10 years. And there were times when I thought I should probably sell it. And the reason I didn't is it's an Epiphone, so it's not a Gibson, but it is the Epiphone Les Paul, and Epiphone are kind of made by Gibson, or were owned by them way back in the day. Don't actually know these days, but I just couldn't, because this beautiful sunburst, like the dark sunburst, like I like the cherry ones, but I bought this one because it was it Stone Gossard? Yeah, I think Stone Gossard, or maybe it was Mike McCready. One of the Pearl Jam guys in like Alive was playing a Les Paul, and it was this type and exactly this finish. And so when I was 17, I saved up my coins, and this cost me $700 in 1996. So I was 17 years old. That sounds about right, doesn't it? Yeah. So yes, it will stay with me forever. Pearl Jam for the win, right? Yes, yeah, I know. The Epiphone Les Pauls are such a good value. Like you get a lot of good guitar, but you're not paying the $3 or $4 grand that you're going to pay for a full on Les Paul from Gibson. All right, let's grab some more questions, shall we? Question here from Fernando Diaz. In the iPad, when you create a drummer track yellow, how do you convert that track to a MIDI track green? You made a video a long time ago, but it doesn't work anymore. Doesn't work anymore, does it? Okay. All right. Let's. This is a challenge. Let's rub our hands together, shall we? And take on board this challenge. So we need to find my drummer to drums, Pete Johns, because I can't remember. I thought we did this a couple of weeks ago, and I thought it did still work, but I can't remember. Let's jump over to take a look. There it is. I'm just going to pop your thing out of the way there. So I've got to try and remember. So yeah, you need to. Why don't we just watch my video, shall we? Let's watch together and see what the method was, and then we'll see if it's working or not. Sounds like it may not still be working, but we'll find out together. This can work for both. So let's take a look at Benny here. If we jump into the drummer settings, I've just set up 3 sections here, all 8-bar sections.
Get to the point, man.
I've just changed up the different patterns here, just so that you can see. To bring it to a drag it there.
All right, that's right.
The fun and the clean.
So we need to add an audio track.
It's our little microphone track there. We'll come back to our track view, and what I'll do is I'll just bring this audio track, just tap it and drag it there.
So you need to put an audio track above it.
And then we just need to record in anything. It doesn't matter. We're going to hit the record button. I don't even have a mic plugged in. So it's recorded nothing, but we just need that because for some reason, if we just copy this drummer track and paste it, we're going to copy the MIDI note data project and create a new project with an actual drum track. Let's do that now. So we'll hit the record in a bit of nothing to
record in nothing again at the top.
The drum, same setup length, and it will. Now what
this comes in. You
Okay.
a classic
So we add in
GarageBand.
whatever drum kit we
Some
want.
problems, just tap again and duplicate out a few more copies of that drummer. So there is Benny, and he's back here now and play this track.
All right. I think I get it. Should we try it together? We'll try it here live. I know that was weird. That was a bit watching inside and inside. So let's come in here and do what we did there. So creating an audio track. And because I wasn't aware that this wasn't working. I don't distrust you, and we'll probably fail here, but let's fail together. So let's just record in a little bit of nothing. Okay, that's all we need there. And then we can bring that to the top here. I think what did you copy? You copied both of these, don't you? So we'll need to make sure that our new track has 120, 4/4, that's fine. And just a standard 8 bars. So we'll copy both of those. Copy, copy. And then we'll come out. And then we'll open a new one. We'll come to iCloud Drive, GarageBand, create song. And go into audio recorder again. Record in a bit of nothing. 3, 4, bum, bum, bum. All right. And then come out here. Now we want to make sure that this is at, I think it was 120, wasn't it? 120 just to match it. I don't think it actually matters with the tempo, but we do need to make sure that we've got enough space. So we'll just make this not automatic, and we'll give it 10 bars. And then we'll add in a couple of drum tracks. So just go to the drums, acoustic drums, leave it with the live rock kit. That should work okay. And do what I did before and just duplicate out a couple of copies for good measure. All right, let's tap here and paste. Yeah, there you go. There's your drums. So yeah, so it is still working. I think the key is to make sure that you go into a fresh project. Make sure you have, I mean, we didn't even need these. Let's just do it without those. We'll just undo. If we only had the one thing there, do we even need those additional tracks? As long as you've got that one selected and you're at the start there, tap, paste. Yeah, boom. So all you need to do is make sure that you have a little bit of audio in there. Make sure that you've got your drum track here. And then, yeah, you can quickly go from a drummer. So instead of your yellow drummer track here, if you wanted more control over that one, you can turn it into a drum track, and then of course you can bring it back. So then we can just copy it from there, because you kind of just use this project as like a placeholder project, and then we come back to this one, and then when we come down here and paste, it'll automatically give us that live rock kit, and we've got our drum kit ready to rock and roll. And the beauty of this is, of course, you can come in here and you can edit it now. So you can do real editing and change up, you know, exactly where it hits the kick drum. You can take some out if you don't like them. You can say, yeah, get rid of that one. And you can add extra stuff in by like using this edit there. So you can create your own kind of custom patterns like. Very cool. And you can even then go separate out the drums. So you can copy each one of these drums to its own drum track and then have like your full kit and caboodle of drums across the board. So thanks for the question. And yeah, look, I wasn't confident it did still work there, Fernando, but looks like it does, which is cool. All right, let's see. I'll just see if we've got any other. My first Epiphone was $4.99 Irish in 94. There you go. Very, very similar. Very similar. Yeah, we pay a third more. We do pay. We always pay the Australia tax. Yeah, double your peach. I know, right? All right. Sometimes you have to create multiple tracks. Yeah. So if you are having problems and it doesn't paste properly, just create like 2 or 3 drum tracks like I did before, and then paste in, and it should be good to go there. More questions? Oh, we've already answered that one, and we've already answered that one. Okay, cool. Anyone here remember Mononucleosis song by Chicago? I don't. I can't say that I do, Bear, but no, I like Chicago. They make good music. Is it Peter Cetera, the guy from Chicago? Is that the singer who did all those like Karate Kid and 80s movie theme things? Was that guy? Maybe. Question, would you ever test out the Lewitt LCT 440 pure microphone? I hear it's good for recording everything. Let's have a look. I don't actually remember how much that cost. I remember looking at some Lewitt gear, and it's pretty high end. So let's look at the LCT 440 over here on the old Sweetwater and see what it is. I mean, it's, what is it? Here. So $269 US dollar bucks. So what is it? Condenser microphone for vocals with a 1 inch condenser and cardioid polar pattern. I mean, Lewitt are known for making good high quality stuff, so I have no doubt this is probably your next step up. So for me, I use things like I used to use the Samson C1. I now use the Audio Technica AT2020, and they're about your $100 microphones. This is that next step up. So this is that sort of middle of the range. The reason that I don't usually use these or even review them is because a lot of folks that watch this channel are kind of starting out and probably don't have nearly $300 to spend on a microphone. But I bet you bottom dollar that our friend Bandrew over at Podcastage has taken a look. Why don't we have a squiz and see Podcastage Lewitt, because that's who I send folks to. Lewitt LC2440. Almost guarantee that he's looked at it. There you go. 4 years ago, but I'm sure it's still relevant. And he even done the NT1, because that's probably the comparison. The NT1 is probably the other one that's in that kind of price range and zone as far as, and there's the NT1 and the NT1A. So the NT1A there, which is $199, and the NT1, which is a slightly different microphone. I think Ron Wood, do you use an NT1 or a 1A? One of the two. And I know Mike from Creative Source has used one of those in the past. But look, you're not going to go far wrong with either a Rode or a Lewitt microphone. They're pretty good, and they're at that. They're not at the the $500, $600, $800 microphone level, but they're that next step up if you're looking for something to record everything. And again, they're a condenser microphone, which means they need phantom power, which means they're going to pick up quite a bit of sensitivity. Like, they're going to have high sensitivity, they're going to pick up a lot of sound. But if you're looking for something like that, then yeah, I reckon it's pretty good. But definitely go and check out Bandrew at Podcastage, because he's the man. He's the man when it comes to all this sort of stuff. When I got my NT1, decided between the Lewitt, went for the NT1. Yeah. So maybe go check out, like I say, Podcastage. Bandrew over there has a good track record and does a lot of decent tests. He records guitar and microphone and vocal and does a whole bunch of stuff and does all the nerdy stuff that I don't understand. So I go with that. I go to Bandrew when I need to know stuff. All right. I love sweet water. I love just any water. And clearly wasn't hydrated enough before. When is Apple going to update Logic Pro X? So what's next? Y. Logic Pro Y will be released on the 25th of November, 2022. Okay. Not really. I have no idea. Not a clue. No insights. No ideas on what's going to be updated. I don't know that we're going to see much in the way. I think Apple have got other priorities for the rest of this year. I don't think we're seeing major GarageBand or Logic software updates. But whenever I say that, it's almost a guarantee that like the next month we get a massive drop. But don't quote me on anything, because I know nothing. I really don't. All right, we've gone through all the questions that we've had there. Just wanted to give a quick tip here, because I had some folks asking me stuff this week about managing your projects, and I've realized that I've got some cleanup to do here in GarageBand. And what I'll do is I'll show you the basic method that I use. So whenever we talk about files and storage, the one thing I say first and foremost is, if you're using the On My iPad location, so On My iPad GarageBand for iOS, and you're storing stuff in here, it is not backed up anywhere. Like, you can store stuff here, like the GarageBand file transfer folders in here. That's where all of your imported files go that you would have seen before when we brought that file in. But that's not a real problem, because you're only really bringing things in. But do not store. Like, I've got one project in here, which is this Funk My Brass song. But you can bet your bottom dollar that I've got another copy. This would have just been here probably last time I was talking about this for demonstration purposes. So use your iCloud drive storage if you can. Now, a lot of folks tell me, I don't have enough iCloud drive storage, because Apple give you, 50 gigabytes for free? Like, they don't give you much for free. Maybe it's 50, maybe it's 100. I've actually upgraded, so I've got Apple One now, but I've always had upgraded iCloud Drive. So I've got 2 terabytes of storage, which means that my devices and all my family's devices, because I've got the family plan, can all be backed up. as well as giving me plenty of storage for all my GarageBand projects. So I've got my GarageBand for iOS folder here, and oh, it's a mess at the moment. Let's do some cleaning up. First thing I'm going to do is come up the top here and organize this by name. There you go. Oh, it's already fresher. So you can see here I've got my hashtag Songtember, which is where all my Songtember stuff goes. Then I've got numbered folders and ideas, and in progress and a completed. I've got my background music for videos and things. I've got a miscellaneous folder for dumping stuff I don't know where it goes. I've got my tutorial songs. So whenever I do a tutorial and I just create a song for tutorial demonstration purposes, it goes there. My incomplete. So that's where I'm working on something. I don't know why. Why do I have in progress and incomplete? That doesn't make any sense. They should both be the same, shouldn't they? In fact, let's fix that. So I'll show you how we can do some of this stuff. Now, the other thing that I wanted to show is don't do your file management here in GarageBand, because you'll find that GarageBand only lets you see visibly GarageBand files. For instance, if I go here into Songtember and I go to my Songtember file, see how I've got this zip file? It won't let me move this or do anything with it because I'm here, and it also won't let you compress files within GarageBand. So a trap for young players is to close out of GarageBand, get out of there, and make sure you're in your files. So make sure you're over here in the Files app so that you can actually see things. So the difference is once we come in here and we go to GarageBand, and again, we'll just redo this by listing it by name, boop, then we can then see things. So for instance, if we come in here, now we can actually select things like zip files and other things. Oops, I just tapped it. I opened it. I didn't mean to do that. So what I need to do here is do some organization. So we'll come and play like all the Songtember stuff. Basically all this stuff, this work in progress stuff, needs to go into this Songtember 2021 folder, and all my current stuff for Songtember 22, which is Grown Ass Man, can go in there. I see. Do you want to hear Chickens on Howard Street? We'll close with that, okay? We'll close with Chickens on Howard Street. It's one of the first GarageBand projects I ever created. I'll go and check it. So what we want to do is come back out here, and anything that's here. So what basically all that's out here are things like these Dua Lipa things. So these are always available. So these Katy Perry, these Lady Gaga, these Dua Lipa. I don't need any of that stuff. Anything I've got in here that's my song is probably just stupid. So I'm just going to delete them. This iOS 16 created project was just when I was testing compatibility between iOS 16 and 15. Don't need that. Don't need this. Pete's K-pop train wreck. I better keep that. That was kind of fun. Don't need this. These are all just additional versions of things. So come in here, delete all that out. So we just select them or we delete them. Now, when you delete stuff here in GarageBand or in iOS at all, keep in mind it doesn't go yet, because it goes into your recently deleted folder. So as soon as you've deleted things, you then need to go to recently deleted. You then need to select in the top right corner, you need to delete all. Or you can recover any ones if you've deleted them by mistake. So a lot of folks do this. They come in here, they clean up their stuff, they get rid of a whole bunch of things, and they're like, and I've got no additional space. It's going to be in your deleted items folder, the recently deleted. So make sure you go in there, clean up your recently deleted, and you'll be good to go. So now I just want to move some stuff around. So this Pete's K-pop train wreck, this one just needs to go into my tutorial songs because that was something that we made there. Don't even know why I've got, that was when I was bringing something from GarageBand to Logic. So that can go into tutorials as well, just to get it out of the way. Why did that not move? Why you no move? Done. Drag. Tutorial. Oh, you know why? Because it's not downloaded. See how it's got the little cloud icon? It can't move it because it's not on this device yet, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. So we'll download it, we'll tap it and download it so that we can move it in a moment once it's downloaded. But this is what I found gives you a better, cleaner look, because now I know that everything in this completed folder is done. Like this is all finished projects that I don't ever need to go back to. Anything that's in the in progress, this is kind of my ideas, like the things that I'm working on at the moment. Any sort of ideas I have, they can all be stored here. So instead of my song 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you can throw them in here. It just gets them out of the way, but you don't lose them and they don't clutter up your default folders. So you don't have to do as I do, but it does actually help. There you go. That one's done now. So we can now move that to tutorial songs. Oh, wait. Has it? It's created a copy there, has it? Maybe it's, why is it not working? Because it's like it's a Logic file. So it's not working. Let's try the other method. So the other way you can do it is to select it and then move it here. And then it will bring it up here. And if we want it in GarageBand for iOS and tutorial songs, Yeah, see, it's not letting us move. So something about that particular file type. So sometimes you hit these sort of things. I'll play around with that later. Isn't it always great when you do a tutorial and things don't work the way you plan? But you can see they've got 1.14 terabytes available in iCloud. So we're good to go there. We are coming towards the end of the show. So, yeah, nothing wrong with Dua Lipa. But here's the thing. What you can do, the reason I got rid of all those is that they're available. So even though I've deleted them now and I don't have them, if you go here and create a song in GarageBand and you go to your sound library, you can get them back. All you need to do, say I want that 17, or we were looking at the Dua Lipa before, weren't we? So we'll scroll down to the bottom here, hit see all, and grab, where is Dua Lipa? She was not in this pack. Sound pack, see all. Now that I've said, don't worry, you can re-download it, I can't actually find it. I think she's in there somewhere. Anyway, let's just do Katy Perry. So if you hit the get button here, it downloads and pops a fresh version of that Live Loops grid directly into your GarageBand folder. So we'll just let that go and I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, it is a Logic file, but I don't know why I can't move. I know it shouldn't be in my GarageBand folder, but it's in there and I don't know why it won't let me move it. So that one's downloaded, and then we can come out here and go, and if we go to my iCloud Drive, GarageBand for iOS, there's our man. A man? There's our lady Katie. So we can actually go in there and open that and use it. But I don't want it, so we're going to delete it. Delete. Dunsky. Yeah, so I'm not sure why it wouldn't do that. We got distracted by the chickens, didn't we? Yeah, maybe something to do with the link. It might be. So it might be that I've either got it open on on one of my Macs, or I didn't close it properly, or it's some sort of weird link that's going on. So I may need to go to the Mac. And look, if you're only using iOS, you won't have that problem because you won't have any Logic files and you won't have Mac files. But yeah, Thomas is right. It's probably something to do with the fact that it's a Mac file and iOS isn't letting me move it around. Yes, no, you definitely can't. They're just for fun, exactly. The Dua Lipa, the Katy Perry, and there's one other that you can't. But you can with that 17. If you're a K-pop fan, you can, and that's why when you saw before I had that K-pop disaster track. That's what that was all about. Right, we are coming towards the end because I'm sure Rockin' Ronnie Ward is getting ready to start rocking your socks off. I'll make sure that we've got a link to Ron's show, Ron Ward Indie Live, and we'll see what's going on over with him. There it is. Oh, is he starting? Oh no, he's in an hour. We got some time. That's all right. I won't rush now because I forgot that I'm earlier now because of the daylight saving. So we could probably sneak another couple of questions in here. There is Rockin' Ronnie Ward. Let's give him a like and let's share this one across because the daylight saving time has started here in Australia. I'm an hour earlier, but you folks haven't changed. So Ron is at his same time, which is there. Question: will you talk about your hat? Thanks for sharing all this GarageBand iOS stuff. You've helped my music. Oh, very, very cool. I appreciate you. My hat is just a Cooper's hat. It's a beer brand. I need to get a new New York Rangers hat because yeah, or if you're referring to the other hat that I often wear, the floppy one, that's a hat that I got in Las Vegas in like 2008, which is like my favorite hat for out and about. But no, this one is just Cooper's. There you go. All song temper songs on Ron Ready today. Very cool. Excellent stuff, Ron. I don't think I've sent you my song temper song. You're welcome to play it, mate, if you want to. But no pressure. I'm sure you got plenty to get through. But yeah, there's nothing. And the other thing with my hat is memo to people: do not use bleach when you are washing your hat in the washing machine, because unfortunately I threw my hat in the washing machine because it got all dirty and I'm like, it'll be fine. And because when I put a load of washing on, I normally just put some detergent, a little dash of nappy sand, which is a bleach, Vanish, and I did that with this, and you can see there that's the original colour, and this is the colour the rest of it went. Will you post I will post you a new hat. Cool. Well, funnily enough, the Lily Pillies, I saw Manny's new video, and there was a Lily Pillies hat, and I'm like, Manny, I need a Lily Pillies hat, and he's like, okay, I'll hook you up. So yeah, I'm a big hat wearer. Anyone that has, I accept all caps, not all caps, not shouting, but I accept all caps that you'd like to send me. Yeah, I do need to up my cap game because I've been wearing this one a bit too much recently, and it's looking a bit shabby. I got my DistroKid cap too. I should be wearing that one because I'm wearing my DistroKid shirt. yeah, I was going to have a quick rant. I'll make this really, really quick because we are going to finish off here. But if anyone has any final questions, please throw them here in the chat. We'll answer a couple more because we've got a bit of time now that I know that I'm not going to step on Ron's show. Yes, all caps. The all caps episode. Yeah, so I just wanted to rant quickly because firstly, a big shout out to all the moderators, both on this channel, but also over at all the Facebook groups. So we've got Ron Ward, who does a great job over at the Create, Record, Release Facebook group and the GarageBand Users Facebook group. And obviously we've got folks like Tom and Jade, who help out on this channel and other places. Almost about once a month, we get someone that comes into one of these forums, and you've all seen these posts. And it kind of got me ranting. I started ranting on Instagram and Facebook and places, Twitter and places this week, because is it just me, or does it seem that anyone that starts an argument with, I've got X years experience in this, and you folks don't know what you're talking about, you've kind of lost the argument at that point, I think. Because it really has no relevance to how good you are, and it definitely has no relevance to how much you can impart that knowledge on other people. And it comes down to the fact that the best people in any field are often not the best people for trying to help or educate or help others learn. So like Wayne Gretzky is the classic one that I use in this. Wayne Gretzky was the potentially, almost non-arguably, the greatest hockey player of all time. He was also one of the worst coaches of all time. He coached the Phoenix Coyotes, and it didn't go well because people that are really talented at things struggle with a couple of things. They either have giant egos, not that Wayne Gretzky did, but they either have giant egos, meaning that they have no patience for anyone that doesn't have the level of experience or the level of talent they think they have, or they are so talented but humble, yet they have no way of knowing how to impart knowledge onto other people that don't already have the knowledge or the natural skill and ability that they have. So I don't know what my point is with this, except to put it out there and say that if you are in these groups, if you're in these forums and you get people that come in and they lead in with, I've been a recording engineer for 23 years and I know this and this and this, and anyone that uses GarageBand is completely rubbish. Yeah, just take it with a grain or a shaker or, like one of those big mounds of salt, because generally... and here's the thing, people that are already confident and comfortable in their own skin and doing their own thing, number one, they're not hanging around in GarageBand groups, like trying to talk down to people. And number two, they're so busy doing their actual work, they ain't going to got the time to be hanging around and belittling other people. And number three, those people that are that good, like I did some masterclass courses. I did the Hans Zimmer masterclass, which is amazing, and the Tom Morello masterclass, Sheena Easton teaching percussion. And the one common thread through all these masterclasses, because you think, these people are like the top of their game and they're the best at what they do, they're gonna be these big arrogant ego people. Not at all. Hans Zimmer was sitting there, like, this is Hans Zimmer, it created music for Batman and music for like all of these amazing movies, Simpsons movie for goodness sake. And he's like, I have absolutely no doubt that my job in 5 years' time will be done by an 18-year-old on an iPad. And that's really cool. Like, he loved it. He loved the technology. And he just said, yeah, look, it's great. I love that I get to work with these big orchestras. And I love that I've had this privileged life to be able to do what I've done. But I make no qualms about the fact that it's going to be different in the future. And unfortunately, the folks that go off on their high horse and start ranting about things about their 24, 26, 37 years experience are usually folks who are scared and bitter because they've devoted and dedicated so much of their time, energy, and money to building up what they think is the right way to do things, that as soon as some upstart comes in and says, you know what, you could actually probably just grab your phone and do pretty much what you were doing on your $10,000 rig that you got there. And they don't like that because they've invested all that time and all that money into that. So that's the way I look at it anyway. And I just wanted to have a little bit of a rant on that because ranting's kind of fun. Yep, credentials are out. Exactly. It's a non-starter. Exactly. We will get to the chicken track. I promise you. We'll play that in a moment. Yeah, I'm done with, yeah, exactly. Telling people how things done. Exactly. Are they, yeah, right. Never trust a skinny chef. It's exactly right. And that's the thing. If my advice is scroll past. If you're in these groups, number one, just report it. If you're getting, like, don't you have to report everything? Like, sometimes there's some over reporting that goes on. sometimes people you could just scroll past. But if it's something really heinous or someone's having a deliberate personal attack at someone for no reason, just hit the report button. Wherever you are, there's always a report button on Twitter, on Facebook, on Discord, whatever it is. Just report it, and then it goes to the admins, and then they have a look at it. And as admins, we don't kick everyone out as soon as something happens, but we will review it and we will make sure that things are going okay, and that the people that don't need to be in the group anymore are no longer in the group. But the other thing you can do is go and look at the background of these folks, because people with good music, it'll be very easy to find all their music, because if they're that good, they'll also be able to promote what the music they're doing is. And if they're producing music, it'll be very clear who they're producing. And the other thing is, when people start telling you, I've worked with all these bands, take that with a grain of salt too, because it ain't always the truth. Exactly. And that's the other point, Dan. You could have X years experience at doing it wrong. Spot on. How are you handling joining parts in your GarageBand track? Throwing it? Joining parts in your GarageBand? Throwing it on BandLab. Not quite following the question here. Handling joining parts of your GarageBand tracks from BandLab. I have done some stuff between BandLab and GarageBand in the past. Joining parts, if I've got two different time signatures or key signatures, I normally just create two projects and then export one project and dump it into the other one if there's a time change or a key change. I've done that in other videos. I have 20 experience in my relationship. My girlfriend was absolutely disagreeing. I'm an expert, right? It's like people think that they can coach a sports team because they've been a season ticket holder for 50 years. Oh, right, I know, right? That's even worse, Thomas. The ones that are the armchair general managers that are like, I can't believe they traded Jenkins for Thomason. It's like, no, it's not the case. You got to do it. You got to have the experience to actually do it. If they really knew what they were talking about, they would know a professional record. Exactly. And they'd also know that in the digital world, and that's the problem, a lot of folks are stuck in the analog way of thinking, which is that it's different. It's recording it differently. Because, you know what? If you had a really nice 1/4-inch tape machine versus a Tascam Porta Studio, it was very different sounding. Whereas the problem we have now, well, it's not a problem, it's actually a benefit, is that this is 24-bit 44.1 kilohertz audio. And if you've got a $50,000 Pro Tools HD rig, guess what it's recording? 24-bit 44.1 kilohertz audio. It's ones and zeros. It's digital. So it doesn't make a difference. Thank you, appreciate you. I'll get off my high horse now. I've worked with Mozart and he didn't need a lot of fancy recording gear. Right? Exactly. Yeah, you don't need it. Should we play this? Should we go out with this song, this Chickens on Howard Street song? I'll give you a bit of the backstory of this. So you'll hear it when I play it, and some of you may have heard it before. This was me learning GarageBand. So the way I used to learn GarageBand, I used to have an iPhone 5S that looked very similar to this. It was basically the same size, a little bit chunkier than this iPod Touch. And I would walk around with GarageBand and I'd just play with it. And I'd throw bass on, I'd throw drums on, I'd be like tapping on my screen. And as I'm walking around, probably a bit dangerously, I'd be tapping things in and learning how everything works. And this was all the way back in 2016. So 2015, 2016, I was first starting this channel. I was starting to make videos just because I was learning myself. I'm like, other people must want to learn this stuff too. So I was creating new videos and I decided to make some songs, and this one, I live in sort of the eastern area of Adelaide, and there's a street called Howard Street, and there's this corner block that's never had anything built on it. It's kind of just like, those blocks where it's like, old cars and bits of old crud that's just been left there by people. But this one, they'd cleared it off recently, and they had chickens. Like, they had this little sort of chicken hutch, and these chickens would just lob around the place, and whenever you go past this block, you walk up to the fence, and the chickens would be there saying, "Oh, give me some food." So as I'm doing that, I started singing about the chickens on Howard Street, and I came up with this song. And let's you and I take a listen to it now, shall we? Chickens on Howard Street, everybody clap your hands. Chickens on Howard Street, they always got their heads buried in the sands.
The chickens on Howard Street, they don't even got any feathers. They don't have a clue what's going on around them, but I still like them and I let you like them too. Chickens on Howard Street, they eat lots of bugs every day. Hey, you might find it a bit disgusting, but I bet you'd eat them if you were a chicken on Howard Street. Chickens on Howard Street, they got nothing going on except for what they do. They're the chickens on Howard Street, and I bet if you were like them, you'd be a chicken too. Let's hear it, chickens on Howard Street. Chickens on Howard Street. Chickens on Howard Street. Chickens on Howard Street. They go cluck cluck.
Crunch, 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 crunch. Oh, no, we don't want to hear it again. No. So that was created, like I say, way back in 2016 when I was first learning that I could do all this on GarageBand. But it was pretty revolutionary. Like I'll keep this project forever, and I'm more than happy to play it to make a fool of myself because I don't have really any care factor about that. But because I was learning that we had these cool things like the Liverpool bass. So I was learning that you could actually use the chords mode here and just hang out on chords, which is pretty cool. I was walking around just playing around with that, and then came in here and went, oh look, you can play guitar chords in here. So I'd have this, and it'd be like. And to this day, when you don't have a guitar with you, but you're like, I want to hear what this would be like, and I want to get this chord progression, you're just like. Like, it won't sound exactly like it, but it's a pretty good facsimile, and then you can go back and make it. Needs a cluck guitar solo in there, yeah, probably. So we had a couple of different guitars there, and again, just working out on the kit. So again, I was walking around just. And learning how the drums worked and how to program drums here in GarageBand, playing the organ, so just like playing like an actual like. Learning how to play using the touch screen on an actual keyboard as well. So it was basically like my little learning zone. And probably the funnest part of this whole thing was this, that I was just learning how to use the sampler and. So you can see here I had this original sample, which was so it was just me going street, and then I just cut it down to the street, so I could do that. So I could just use the sample in there. So it was fun. You reckon, Thomas? We need a fully realized version. Just turn it into like like my current style with like a folk rock, like chickens on Howard Street. Maybe not. No, I think it needs to be. The same kind of thing. Was that fireworks at the end? Yeah. What was that? What is this right at the end? I don't even know what this was. Let's see. Let's see what this was.
Chickens on Howard Street.
That was just me singing it again.
Chickens on Howard Street.
That was my double.
Chickens on Howard Street.
Listen to the breath.
Chickens on Howard Street. They go cluck cluck.
And you could hear that. You could hear the bleed coming through there in the background that I was just going with. Alrighty, that is going to do it for this show. Do it with an orchestra, you reckon? La, la, da, 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 da. Maybe one day. Oh, that's wrong. Maybe one day my prince will come. All right, that is going to do it because we are way over time. I didn't have my timer on here because it still says I'm not live. So I have no idea how we're going to finish this show. So you may get a black screen now, and I'll have to go into the back end and try and remove it somehow or stop it. But StreamYard doesn't think we're live, so it may take a little bit of kajiggling to do this. So I may have to make sure I download this copy of the show, and this might be a version that we chop up and re-release because there was a a few things that went on with it. So maybe I do need to just delete the stream and it'll come back. If I can't get out of the stream, that'll be what happens. But let's pretend that it all works and we can actually close off. Otherwise, just hang out in the chat room and chat with each other. It'll be fine. Thanks everyone for being here. Don't forget, we've got Rockin' Ronnie Ward coming up in around about 45 minutes with a live Songtember request edition of Indie Music Live. And I'm taking a couple of days off because I'm pooped. It's been a long September. It's been a fruitful Songtember. And I will be back with all the usual shows on the weekend. We'll have the happy hour. We'll have Your Music Live, another episode of GarageBand Weekly, Creator Town Hall, and all that jazz. But until then, be kind to yourselves. Be kind to others. Keep creating. And I'll see if we can end the show. Bye for now, folks. You know what? I'll play Chickens on Howard Street in the background just so that you can have something to listen to while I go out. Bye-bye.
Chickens on Howard Street. Everybody clap your hands. Chickens on Howard Street. They always got their heads buried in the sands. The chickens on Howard Street, they don't even got any feathers. They don't have a clue what's going on around them, but